Well, there we are, friends. Welcome to the Twin Flame Abundance Live of this week. And today we are again going to do a live oracle card reading with the assistance of Divine Mother that will guide me in whatever we're going to get from the cards and how I'm going to shuffle them and also in what I'm going to make out of it. And yeah, there we go. The topic is I will read it for you. What I concocted this time, it is going to be the union perception of life itself. Because I feel, I experience now that going to harmonious twin flame union, the consciousness state, that it is all about, whether you had heard of that before or not, want that or not, that's what it's all about. That's when you know that you have the true twin flame and your abundance opens up. Harmonious twin flame union brings you in union consciousness. Ta-da, there it is. Kind of logic, actually, Twin flames want to feel love, want to feel divine love. Well, it is like the manifestation of divine love, right? So that happens within the spiritual space, the spiritual consciousness of that divine love. And what is that? Well, it's union consciousness, kind of logic, right? It is the consciousness of experiencing the oneness of yourself, of your relationship with the divine, and with life itself, and through that, with the rest of the world. And a product of that is the true twin flame because they are one with you on the core level. That's just how it is. That's how reality is structured. That's the architecture of life itself. And, well, friends, that feels a certain way. It is a certain way. It has a certain way of influencing you as a human being in your daily life, in your work, in your how you sleep, how you act, what you say, what you do as work, all kinds of things. Everything, actually. It influences you. It is something that has a certain working on you. And then in turn, it changes how you see the world, how you experience anything. Sitting in my workspace, being the queen of the household here, it influences everything. How you interact with the people in the supermarket. It influences it in a certain way. And we're going to talk about how. And Divine Mother is going to enlighten us through the cards that I'm going to intuitively be working with. I prepared them all here. We're going to see which ones I feel attracted to when and what they're going to say. And yeah, we're going to see what that means, what this union perception of life means, and how it is different from where you came from, right? Because it stands out in a certain way, so it must be different than where you came from at the beginning of the journey, when you were still unaware of what we were doing, when you were still very much influenced by the ego personality, society, social world, and how they think. There's nothing wrong with it per se, but it's different. They think differently. It's a different way of standing in life, perceiving relationships, perceiving what is important in life, etc. So, yeah, what is that union perception of life? And we're going to start with my own card deck. And I also have a beautiful revelation about my own card deck because I decided after last week's live to change the name of it. I already told you during the lives of the whole summer that I am redesigning the cards and hopefully also make them available for you one day. I mean, they're so colorful, they're so cool, but they can even be better. And I'm going to make the booklet even better also, I decided. They were called the Manifest and Heal cards, but I'm going to call them from now on forward the, let's say it right and read it from the booklet, Manifest Union and Mission cards. There we go. They are currently very much attuned to your mission, which is definitely what you will find inside your harmonious twin flame union when you arrive. You have to get to know it, you have to get to understand what it tells you and then test it out, etc. But you will find it. It's a given in your union. It's not something that you can fantasize. It's not, in a sense, not even like a creation from your ego personality. It's given in what you are on the soul level. It's creation level. It's not creative, but creation level, which then for sure only invites you to open your creativity, but not in exactly what it is. That's in the creation. And that's beautiful. And I have read from the booklet to you in the past, interpreting the entries in the booklet in the union way while it was written about the mission. And I decided that I am going to change the book and make interpretations for and union and mission so that when you one day have my card deck, you can look it up and choose if you want to read the union meaning or the mission meaning. I think that's a beautiful way. That's why they're called now Manifest Union and Mission cards. What we're going to do is we're going to pick 4 cards for the idea of what your resources are in the question of what is this union consciousness perception of life. We are going to see what the goal is in this question of what is the union perception of life. We're going to look at what the foundation of it is. And the 4th card will be about what the essence of it is. So we're going to see what that all means. Let's see, Divine Mother, what 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there we go. I have the 4 cards. There we go. And the first is resources. What are the resources when you are in the union consciousness of life itself? Generated value comes to light. Okay. The acknowledger affirmer manifestation C1.4 from the coin series with the coins, signifying value. The eternal value, that is love, and it flows. And here in the middle, it's some sort of invisible. It's empty. It's invisible. Right? It's invisible, but not empty. Like the space is empty to signify to you that it is invisible. But it generated value comes to light in this sort of empty, quote unquote, space. So the resources that you have when you are in union consciousness are that something comes to the surface that is made out of light and it's very valuable, but you can't necessarily outline it. It's generated value comes to light. Something comes to the surface, is able to be sensed, is able to be felt, it's able to be experienced. That is generated value. It's very valuable. That is the inner resource. The inner resources come to the surface. and show themselves to you. Let's look in the booklet. The void is alive. Where earlier it looked like a void, now value has manifested itself. Sometimes that looks for the superficial onlooker like still an empty space. But that is far from true. Making come true, manifesting of your harmonious twin flame union is a rooting deep into heaven. And this will form the steadfast soil for a quick and valuable growth of everything, including money, that you desire. Another example, making come true the fact that you are the expert for yourself, acknowledging it, making the difference in your coming forward and making contact. You are now fully ready to claim that. And it makes your prices rise as well because you are creating a higher perceived value. The first example looks a lot more cloudy and dreamy than the second, because the second stands much closer to what is traditionally considered to be within the business and social realm. But both are true nevertheless, and only some examples. The void is alive. You are the one that brings it to life. You do this by connecting your heart with your true energetic value and make them speak through your soul by giving your feelings space to breathe. Not your emotions are at stake here, as they are your reactions to things like anger, fear, hilarity, but your feelings that are underneath that, the deeper home bringing soft feelings and touches that create your life. You are able to acknowledge the subtle movements of the feelings that are the building blocks of life. You can do this for yourself and for others. This is very valuable. You see people for who they really are. You see their growth, and thus also bring them to see themselves. Okay, so this was for the resources in the union consciousness way of living. You just getting all that you need from within. And even though it's intangible, it is deeply valuable and everything you need. It is alive. And I can attest to that. Life becomes alive. The world becomes alive, and you start to experience that apparently you were not alive before, which is so strange. Like, you must be kidding me, like, really? I was not even alive? That cannot exist, but it does exist. And that's how it is. It's exactly how it is. So interesting. You're like, how did I even, function before or something? Yeah. It's like not attractive anymore, also, to go back. All right. So when we go in this reading to the next position, that is your goal. What is the goal in union consciousness perception of life? This is the card. That is like two flames inside each other, surrounded by a circle of subtle energy or light. An innovative team that can reach an essentially new result, and passing on how interconnected teams are formed. The Builder Humans Manifestation B3.4. So it looks like the goal in union consciousness is building that innovative team consisting of two flames touching inside each other, sharing the core. Well, guess what that is? You only have one guess. Only one guess, okay? Put it in the comment field. There are no prizes to be won because it is too easy to answer. That's, of course, the twin flame. That's the team consisting of two people. Yeah. And you're also in union consciousness when you are together, already passing on how interconnected teams are formed, how the interconnected union, twin flame union, is formed. Because of you living it, you are an example of it for people to see that, to feel that, to sense that, and it will always communicate. We're going to the booklet now for the meaning of this card. Heaven is innovative. When you have not only repaired your energy body with your golden flow on a spiritual and personal level, which is the golden flow is like the source energy moving through you, but have also attuned to your source and soul in such a way that your true twin flame, your ultimate lover, is fully connected with you in harmonious union, you are blessed. From this core healing of two crossing spiritual and complementary dimensions, you will now start to grow more full in your presence from the inside out automatically. This conception of existing on this blessed level of co-creation now becomes more true and starts to flow over in your physical life where daily actions and your relationships exist. Your harmonious twin flame union is the only core team at this level that exists in complete peace, friendship, love, spiritual mastery, mission, and business. You are part of this team with your own individual energy body that is filling up and that has two inner poles inside of it as well. The same as your own, as in your union, masculine and feminine energy. That is like on the union level, it's are only the divine masculine or the divine feminine. But when you then zoom into one of these people there, then you see that in your individual energy field, on that level, which is another level we talk about, you have masculine and feminine energy. When this is mastered, you can also start to compile other teams. Yeah, when you're not only in the harmonious union with them, but also more healed in your individual energy field, which has also a reflection again on the bigger whole, right? You can start to compile other teams. You can start to feel what other unions are. And also, when you're not even talking about unions, but anyone, you start to be much more able to work with other people in a completely new way. Remember that we just discovered that you weren't even alive before union consciousness had awoken you, right? Yeah, well, you were biologically alive, but not spiritually in a sense. So, okay. And this happens in the assumption they are also on their way to their harmonious union and golden flow. Okay, so whomever you start to work with there, share that ability with, share the union consciousness with, be aware that they are also on their journey towards that. That's just what everyone actually is on their way towards. This makes for you to be able to see everything correctly as it is for yourself and for them. Hmm. Everyone is on their way to these states of being, what I just said, consciously or unconsciously, because they lead to heaven on earth in truth, in your unique, innovative way. You are on your way to harmonious union and golden flow. You long for welcoming your ultimate lover into your team. in which you also remain in communication within that with your individual golden flow that forms the basis of all exchange inside and outside your core team. Awesome. So that was about the goal that you have in the union consciousness perception of life. The union consciousness perception of life has as goal to build your team, your basic team with whom you do life in eternal perspective of all things. It's your eternal team. And once that is established, man, like the foundation that you have in the truth of life is like immense. It's immense. Yeah. So that's the goal in union consciousness, to build you and then be an example, be a living, breathing example. You just exude what you are already, just like that. There's no way to not do that, to not exude that, to not be that. Well, except when you're starting to hide. But as soon as you start to hide, um, you are in a movement that if you don't turn it around, before you know it, you've lost the consciousness of harmonious union, of union consciousness altogether again, and you need to do inner work to arrive there once more. And that is because it belongs to that consciousness to be able to be open and honest and share and be visible. And there is growth in that possible. You don't need to like open the doors and invite the whole world into your house. Not at all. It's about an inner attitude that you can slowly, step by step, grow into. But it's nevertheless indeed how that works. When you, this morning, I listened to a video reading the book A Course in Miracles, which is the method of the Christ Masters of how to influence consciousness, how to go to union consciousness, what we're actually right now researching into, right? In a very direct way. It's an autonomous method in itself. And I endorse it, but it's not my thing. It's not the only thing that I endorse. I have my own method. It's something that represents the Christ Masters that I, in spirit, co create with. And that I, in spirit, co created the possibility to pass on harmonious twin flame union with, for me to have that as an ability in myself, in our relationship, to make that happen for you too. And when I this morning listened to this video reading a piece in this book, A Course in Miracles, I heard actually being spoken about exactly that. That I actually lost my train of thought there, which is kind of funny, but it must come back. It must come back. This is live, people. It's live. I can't hide it now that I lost my train of thought. Well, anyway, um, go back a tad and hear that I heard that what I just said exactly also that it existed in A Course in Miracles. Let's keep it at that. And that was a beautiful confirmation of all of these things, you know? Yeah, okay, let's keep it at that. Which is also like an additional thing that just was flying in here because I guess it just also wanted to show itself because it is about, that's a direct way how the Christ Masters would advise you to do things, think about, feel about, going directly to union consciousness, leaving the rest behind immediately. But I mean, it's not that immediately, because before you've read 1,500 pages, it's quite some time elapses. But the fun thing at the same time of reading that is that when you have read like 2 sentences, you can like chew on that already most of the time, to such a degree that potentially even union consciousness could already come from chewing on 2 sentences. That's the fun of that book. And I do co-create Harmonious Twin Flame Union with the Christ Master, so that's very fitting. And at the same time, for me personally, it also represents that, I went for the first time to Union Consciousness with my yoga and meditation teacher 20 years ago, 19 years ago, approximately. Can you imagine? Time is going fast. Anyway, and I fully arrived there. And that was an experience that I had with him in this retreat that we did, where he lives in nature. And wow, I mean, that was so beautiful. It was truly coming home in myself. And the value of this book is that it is like as if someone used words to bring you there. Put exactly what I experienced there in words and in a book, in a universal way, so that I could just give it to you and say, I had this beautiful experience with my teacher 20 years ago, 19 years ago, approximately, of completely and utterly union consciousness coming home. But it's so hard to teach you that. And if I would want to give you something like in one gesture, like, oh, but here it is. Someone wrote it down, how to get there, which I find extraordinary that is possible. Also because I love words, which was not the entrance that we used with my spiritual teacher back then. We used yoga and meditation and conversation, but it was relational conversation. It was not a book. And the relational conversation was about how you were energetically being, feeling, and developing yourself in the moment. That's what it was about. That was the conversation about. So it did use words, but it's like, I don't know, it's like different. It's like, could I give it to you? Like, here it is. Well, in a direct way. Well, there's the book. I think that's extraordinary. And it is very direct. That's also special about that book. It's much more direct than anything I ever experienced. All right. We were still talking about the goal of union consciousness, and that it really is producing your twin flame union, your most foundational team in life. And when you've got that team, then you can start to form other teams as well. Mission teams, business teams, friendship teams, other people's union teams, and creating circles with union to union to union, holding each other's hands, so to speak. Right? That's when that starts to work for you. That's when relationships, in other words, start to work out. And that is the goal in union consciousness, according to this reading, second place goal. So I think that reality, like divine reality, is very much about relationships. And isn't that what all our lives are about, really, right? You want to experience relationship. You want to experience relationship with something valuable. Uh, you want to experience relationship with the divine, with God, with divine mother, with the universe. You want to experience relationship with someone else, with your friends, with your family, with a romantic partner. I mean, that's like the highest thing that many people want to experience in life, which is a normal thing because this consciousness comes in relationship. It actually doesn't even come alone. It's not individual. It's a relationship itself. You are the relationship. And to be precise, you are the relationship between the divine and your union. That's what you are. And if you can step into that and keep it there, that's your solution for everything. And you don't even need to read the book A Course in Miracles anymore. There you go. The next position in my first reading here is going to be foundation. What is going to be the foundation of all of this in union consciousness way of experiencing life? What is the foundation of that? Creation. This reading is like slap in your face. Correct. Can you saw me shuffle, okay? This is like the Vesica Pisces. This is a form that is the middle form of two intersecting circles. And when you look at these two, they also, when you would put them together next to each other, they also give that Vesica Pisces, the middle intersection of two intersecting circles. So you and the divine, your union and the divine. And then in the middle, the relationship between your union and the divine overlapping, and in the middle of that you relate, and that's what this is. And that is how creation is made. That's how creation is born. This is creation. Union consciousness is creation itself. It's the foundation of creation itself. Creation, how the universe is constructed, is through union consciousness. And inside union consciousness, everybody has their union as their foundation for their personal functioning, their twin flame union for their personal functioning. It's creation itself. The foundation of this is creation itself, union consciousness. That perspective of life is foundation of life itself. This card means transforming from an experience 0 point towards the point of the coming into existence of creation that truly gives to you and others. The title of the card is Mastercard Creation. Creation is the growth diamond, and aligning with the laws of it brings forth a shift in essential identity. Stemming from this transformed you, more and more diamonds will grow in others and in daily life. Meditation, artistic project, your business, your entire entrepreneurship in which you combine all the before mentioned, and so on. There, the creativity of the mind gets to work in a beneficial way, with a great idea, with business innovation, with artistic freedom and artistry. That will be added to that then. This is the additional value of life, unless one sabotages oneself. Free will is always available to choose for sabotage or spiritual law. Right, it's spiritual law, foundation of creation. That's what union consciousness is. Here you will get to discover and execute where both resistance and flow collide into an opportunity. You will reach from an experience 0 point to something with clear value that is tangible in some way and that gives to you and others. You will not only become whole for yourself, but also for others that are connected to you. Your relationships fall into another pattern when you aligned with the source of creation. When you would only connect to the mind creation without caring about how source creates. This can be confusing in a transitional period where you are still getting used to this. But do not be afraid, your true abundance will follow you in the development like nothing else. You are surrendered to source creation. Accepting this as essential truth of your identity makes it true already, just like that, at least for the part that it does. You are moving through a development in installing union consciousness on more and more parts of yourself, right? You inspire others by staying at this place, even though it looks like you will separate a little more from each other at first, because other people are not in that consciousness. That seems to be then like, oh, but they're a little bit further away. I thought we were going to relate, but that is actually a genuine reflection of where they are in life, which is okay. And when you can acknowledge that, that can also become less and less. And in your perception, you are, in essence, equal brothers anyway. But in the physical world, you can sometimes see like, oh, but at first it seems like it actually increased the, like, sort of the difference between us or something. But that is just the trickling down of reality you hadn't noticed before. But you know at the core of you that you are essentially equal and the same in union consciousness at the same time. And that can transform the relationship nevertheless. And through that movement, you can actually experience togetherness on the essential level that is reality. You go first on a consciousness journey is what this means, and they will follow. You always go self first, yourself first, whatever it is, even twin flame union, in which you would want them to make this first step, them to come back, them to return from running, etc. But no, you go first. And the idea that you go first, even in your union, is only a perception, because you go first in union where you are true twin flames and thus mirror each other by law, only means that you're focused correctly on always moving forward yourself, and therefore they will also. You're focused correctly now. They will also move forward and go first in their perception. Because when you go first, they go first also. That's what twin flames are. Okay, so all of this is the foundation in this reading. We had resources, goal, and foundation. And now we're going to go to the essence. What is the essence of union consciousness and how that shapes how you perceive life? To clear of shadow aspects and make whole. That's just, again, slap in your face, correct? These cards. To clear of shadow aspects. When we look at the world in our eyes, we clear the whole world of shadow aspect and we cry a little, because that is just our letting go process of shadow aspects. And then what remains in our eye, in our perception, is the whole union, the reality of being in the whole and being whole. That is the essence. D 2.3. Shadow worker. To clear of shadow aspects and to make whole. Seeing clearly. In some processes, there is a last push necessary through your shadow to the other side so that you get into the light fully. Maybe you believe that this is already over. You have, after all, taken all the steps by now that you could see were necessary. Then the soul step arrives. More tears, more grief. And then a new landscape comes into view suddenly. This is the most meaningful thing you can give yourself because it is the very best you can give the world. Seeing the landscape, the world as whole and full of value, clean from impurities and shadows, makes everything that follows peaceful and worthy. This one last step before the final one will wash your inner eyes clear of dirt and your outer eyes also. What to do with relationships, business, love, money will now become clarified. Allow yourself the patience in this phase. It is worth it. You can ask for extra clarity in dreams, ideas, intuitions. This will surely be given to you, but do not go overboard with it because this phase primarily has a need for soft surrender, possibly tears, and a vulnerable and sensitive heart. Your meditation, artistic, social, business, or project, your business or entrepreneurship smartens up tremendously through the surrender without even changing a thing about the structure or strategy. Well, it's also true for your union. Your union will smarten up tremendously only by surrender without even changing a thing about the structure or strategy inside of it. By the cleaning, by the grief, by the letting go. You can, by changing your perception, change the world. This goes for all situations and relationships. It is a matter of how you look. Do you see loss, abandonment? Then you will sit in sadness or realize your unfinished grief of another occasion and now finally finish it. When that is completed, you see that you had never been deserted in the first place. You are always only arriving more and more. This is the very best you can make others feel as well. And you can teach them this principle too when they so desire. So that's the essence. The essence is purification. And that will make everything 1,000 times better on any point in the journey. And it is what union consciousness is. It's what union consciousness does. It does clear your eyes, your perception. You see the world correctly. You see your union correctly. You see your twin flame correctly. You see correctly where you are on the journey. For instance, they are doing something that you don't like and you think that it should be different. They should come back to you, etc. But union consciousness says, no, this is what they're doing because they are correct. Did you know that? Your twin flame is right. When you think from union consciousness perspective, your twin flame is always right. Except when it's not your twin flame. But then it's not your twin flame. And that's outside of this discussion. And that's no problem because there's still a twin flame out there for you because that's how you're created. When it's your true twin flame, they're always right. They're running away and they're right about that. That's what union consciousness perception with cleared eyes would teach you. They're right because they sense something inside of you that is the correct reaction to. And the purification makes you, well, purify that part of you so that the union consciousness projection out in life, which is you and them and how you behave as people in the world, will have a different expression that is much more how you like it, much closer by. So that's how twin flames work. And that's why the purification for twin flames is so central, because it does give you what you want. Even though in the first instance it doesn't look like it gives you what you want, because you might need to look well in the mirror in ways that seems too confronting at first. But you can take some time, to to work through this look in the mirror. It doesn't need to happen yesterday. It can just start now, and then you work through that. Cut yourself some slack, but do the real work. Be kind to yourself. Have compassion. Lots of compassion. But do the real work, the real purification. And, well, you can only do that with the spiritual twin flame inner work tool and the guidance that you need for that too. You can't purify your soul level relationship with your true twin flame with psychology only, because that's not fit for this relationship. When you do the spiritual inner work with the correct twin flame tool, you will undergo also psychological changes. Oh my gosh, you do. You will. Absolutely. But not the other way around. That's just not, doesn't work. Won't really give sustainable outcomes. All right. That was the essence. So we had the resources. They are invisible, but it's very valuable. It is the light within you. There is a goal of union consciousness perception of the world, and that is to change your relationships in how they are supposed to be. Your twin flame union in the first place, and then everyone else. There is a foundation of what it is, and that is going to be creation itself. So don't feel bad about that you are spending time, money, and energy on this. You are just investing in the right thing. You are investing in returning to your original state. And that is beautiful beyond description. You will become an expression of creation itself. And that means that eventually you'll be able to manifest like that. You will be able to heal like that. Because that's how one you will be with creation itself. And we have the essence of what union consciousness as a perception of the world is. And that is, the essence is the purification of the soul. Amazing. I'm godsmacked. But we are going to, I think, expand on this reading with some other oracle decks. And the first one that I got is the spiritual messages. Okay. My motivations are as important, if not more important, than my actions. That's exactly true for twin flames. It is about the motivation for things. And that is the union consciousness teaching indeed. Because you can do something, call your twin flame up, right? And the motivation behind that you have is the vibrational difference that makes all the difference. That is the entire crucial thing. my motivations are just as important, if not more important, than my actions. Because if I call them up from my ego personality out, maybe something happens, but it's not really sustainable and maybe they don't like it. But if I have from my motivation out union consciousness, because I tapped into that before I called them up, then things will work out. So is your deeper motivation in ego personality or in union consciousness? Completely different. Egos can't reach union. You see, so that was very concise and precise. Amazing. And now let's also do a personal insight card. Why not? All my needs are allowed to be felt. For sure, in this journey to union consciousness, to making that potential come true of being in union with your true twin flame, which is already true on the heart level there, but making it come true in all dimensions, you for sure go through that, feeling all the needs that you have and allowing them all to be here in the open, because that's the only way God can fill those needs for you. Your relationship with the divine is able to answer these needs for you. But what you will experience is that you, in the relationship with the divine inside of yourself, answer your needs. And then when that is fulfilled, or in the process of being continually fulfilled, because that's how your mentality is best, that is happening all the time, then you will actually enter a space where it's not really about needs anymore, but about sharing with your true twin flame, the joy of life. So that's how that functions. I'm just looking at the dragon fae all the time. So I am going to get a dragon fae card. These or just one or two? Oh, first this one at least. Dragon fae, the women of the new buds, like a flower bud, I think. Cherish tenderness. That's what this dragon fae stands for. It's like an energy of the dragons, which is connected to the Kundalini power on the earth. And we still have this question open. If you think that dragons are essentially dinosaurs and they're now not physical anymore, dragons also, and that's why they are in energy. They exist in energy. Dragon fae, they exist in energy. That's what that means. If you have an opinion about if dragons and dinosaurs are essentially the same, please let me know. I'm very curious. Let's have a look in the Dragon Fae booklet. So it's about a lot of tenderness. 25. Just the growth of new delicate things that whisper new, fresh words to you. Just like tiny flowers in your garden are sprouting out for the first time. And that's, I guess, what they want to say that union consciousness is for us, because we're very new in this space. We're just very inexperienced in this space, all of us. It's such a new thing to feel and experience and take as the foundation of your daily life and your love life and your relationships and your food life and your mission life and your work and whatnot, everything as the foundation of all these things. That's just so new. We're just like these teeny tiny new flowers that just are only just coming out of the ground. So I think we need a lot of delicacy in how we care about ourselves in, yeah, in maintaining this union consciousness. It's like a seed that is inside of you, union consciousness, but it needs to grow. And then the seed doesn't stay like a seed. We know that union consciousness is like intangible. It's certainly very concrete, but it's intangible at the same time. It's on the inner, it's on the heart level, it's on the soul level. It's where twin flames come from. But the seed of union consciousness that is 100% guaranteed inside of you is not meant to remain a seed. It's meant to grow. It's meant to be watered and germinate and sprout a little bit out and have a look above the ground for the first time and feel the sun. It's meant to take shape through you. And of course, through you, it takes shape as your harmonious union, as your romance, romance of eternity. That's how it takes shape. And how does that take shape? Well, in the ways that you feed it into, that it is programmed for you to come out as, in a series of beautiful dates, and then a beautiful marriage proposal, and then this beautiful intimate small wedding ceremony at the beach, and then a beautiful dinner where your heart's friends enjoy your union with you. And then I don't know, I don't know. It's just something that takes the shape of how it is through your soul that the colors come out, that the colors of the rainbow come out. But the seed doesn't remain a seed, it starts to grow. It starts to become something. And that's how it's meant to be. Union consciousness is not only like a still pool of nothingness. It's supposed to touch you so that something can grow. And you step into that world where this form grows. So that's what the Dragon Fae woman wants to speak to us about. And she just loves a lot to work with the flowers and gardens and planting seeds and like literally seeing them germinate and bear fruit and flowers and whatnot. That's what she loves. And she wants you to be inspired by that if that speaks to you, by working in the garden or making something grow, herbs on the windowsill, something like that, so that you can feel what that means, which is an inner thing about the union consciousness, but you can also have an outer thing in which that happens. That's nice. Or work with flowers or essential oils. That's just what she lets me know through the text in the booklet. Okay. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So now I see the Egyptian deck. So union consciousness, and how does that shape how we see the world? How we perceive things. Nekhbet, the great mother. Well, there is Divine Mother, the Egyptian version of her. Not only care for other people, but for yourself as well. You will get a higher insight and bring it into practice. Meditation idea: ask Nekhbet to help you integrate a new life lesson. Well, ask Divine Mother to help integrate union consciousness in ourselves, because only integrated in physical world, in becoming a flower that grows, union consciousness actually means something, in in creating your relationship with your true twin flame. It really starts to mean something very concrete and deeply spiritual at the same time. And that's where so many things can be born for you: projects and love and relationships and mission and a family and just an eternity of time spent together, that you feel so full inside that you want to share that with friends, and all the other ways in which it starts to express itself for you. It's supposed to integrate like that. That's why this kind of life in union consciousness starts with the twin flame. It's a beautiful entrance to it. It's not the only entrance. Value in the sense of money and mission is actually also an entrance to it. Which you can use on the way to your true twin flame, because it's like a secret pillar of twin flame work that people don't consider. But you have to, of course, do your actual mission and not what you think is your mission. Just like the twin flame is the true twin flame and not who you think is the twin flame. So that's, of course, always the caveat. Right. Okay. I'm seeing that the master magician wants to speak about something too. Okay, we'll take this one. Realm shift. And then it also says it in Spanish. Yeah, that's what it is, right? Union consciousness is a realm shift. You just shift your entire realm of action, realm of thinking, realm of being, realm of feeling. You go from the outskirts of consciousness in the world, in the body, in relationships, towards the inner, towards the heart. That's an enormous shift. Don't underestimate that. It's a quantum leap. It's an expanded reality. It means walking into the unknown, becoming open awareness. And it means accelerated change. Lose your moorings, journeyer. Make room for miracles and expanded realities. In receiving this lens, this card is a lens. You are being asked to take a quantum leap beyond the confines of your known reality. You are becoming open awareness, an open system. You and this reality are entering a total shift of realms. Because of humanity's mass agreement about how reality is, quote unquote, how reality is, you may have constructed your reality based on fixed beliefs in such things as restriction, denial, limitation, and judgment. However, when humanity reaches the critical threshold of change in its belief system, reality shifts to reflect that change. Set aside how your reality appears. See the universe as an inseparable whole. one hologram made up of a vast web of interwoven possibilities. You can affect and draw from that energetic field now. You can create the reality you choose. A shift of realms is taking place. At this nexus of time and space, powerful galactic energies are meeting your expanding perception of what is possible. Anything you have defined in a limited way is open to transformation. Perhaps you have seen this expanded version of reality in moments of extreme crisis, strong emotions, plant medicine experiences, deep meditation, severe illness, or near death experiences, or otherwise. After such moments, all things look different and the potential of all possibilities emerges. That is because the assemblage points of your reality have been shaken loose. So I want to add that we don't need these kinds of practices. Um, they can sometimes, in tandem with the twin flame inner work tool, not not per se be bad, but the point is that all of them are combined in the key tool for twin flame inner work. Even when you say, like, oh, but for this enormous consciousness change to go to union consciousness, gosh, maybe I need to really brought into this deep trance or something, and then internal changes can happen, and I need all these things to make that happen for me. But the key tool brings you in that. If you are in a consistent key tool experience, under guidance, of course, to make it real safe, you are actually going into that deep trance. So it's so interesting, that we don't need all these things anymore. I just wanted to throw that in here. But it is in how this book is described, nevertheless, and I understand that it is here. Receiving this lens asks you to consciously loosen your assemblage points and allow them to remain flexible. Take a quantum leap into the fluidity of unfixed beliefs and expanded realities by flexibly choosing to move into the unknown. A complete and marvelous reordering of your world awaits you. And isn't that true? Oh my gosh, this is so true. What I experienced on the twin flame journey in my healing towards union consciousness, towards the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union, where you can now start to build with your true twin flame in a way that is truly sustainable. Um, I experienced the loosening up of these sort of meeting points of all the connections that your life is seems to be made out of, and then all these points, they just loosen up. You're like, oh, and now it clicks together very differently. And it sort of remains looser than before. Very interesting. Everything about what you believed about life and about what life was about, what society was about, what money was for, what love, how love should be organized, everything, how communication should work. Everything is like loosened up and like rearranged. It's really true. It's really true. So a realm shift is totally what this is, union consciousness. And then, well, I mean, it's pretty much inclusive in this description, right? That from there on out, you experience the whole of life differently. I thought I knew what my mission was, how I should do it, how you should do business, how you should organize workshops and do marketing and whatnot. But Divine Mother loosened that up completely. And even though I had spent at least, but actually much more than 10,000 euro years ago on learning entrepreneurial structures, and I actually still use that as a structural foundation of how to think about things, because it was actually already holistically anchored. But then still, this whole process loosened everything up completely. I thought that we were going in the right direction with my Facebook community. And the whole process made me completely delete everything out of the entire group of the first 4 years and start over. And then it's so strange because everything is still here. And we're still doing seemingly the same things. Even what I said on the basis of the similar business structures that were holistic to begin with. That was beautiful. I also passed them on if you're interested. I have a whole book about them. Very fitting for twin flames that want to do their mission. But at the same time, the inner anchoring of all of that completely changed. And I never would have done such a completely out of your mind drastic thing as emptying out a Facebook group. Are you crazy? But I did. Because it was so different, even though it was the same. And what changed was now I could focus. What changed was now I was correctly aligned. What changed was now Divine Mother guided me into a flow in which things would come and be expressed. And I would learn and teach at the same time. And I would be in this flow and it was going, although I didn't know where it was going. And everything became organized in a different way. Everything became, oh, here does this piece of the puzzle fit in. Oh, here is where you can very well use my 9-point energy system that I developed with Divine Mother over a decade ago. Oh, here is where you start to share meditations, etc., etc. It's the same, but completely different. So it takes your trusted, well-known elements and completely loosens these joints up and puts them in now a divinely guided order that you are. That union consciousness is. Union consciousness gives you a place in the whole of the society of the universe. It gives you a role in the rolling out of twin flame union consciousness over the entire universe at the leading edge of creation where we're now. It gives you a role in that. It says, here is where your flow is. Here is your precise place where you feel safe yet open, where your twin flame union has a mission that expresses itself in the best way. And it's only that. That was it. You have a role in the development, the spiritual leading edge development of the entire universe. You have a role in that. That's what union consciousness gives you. It gives you the order of the divine because you step into that union. That is the order of the divine in your individual relationship level. And that then clicks into the bigger whole. And you will become completely useful. Used by the leading edge development of the universe to spread the idea that we can now be with our true twin flames early in the journey, which is a new thing that is more opened up for everyone earlier in the journey. Do the journey, the rest of the journey together. It's more opened up that that is possible through intercession, I would almost say, by the Christ Masters on earth now, which whom I co-create that possibility that is actually valid for the entire universe. And you get to have your place in union consciousness. And yes, that is completely universal in the universe and your place in the web. But you have to let that happen, like the joints of your thinking open up so that you can become reassembled. And in the stretch of time of reassembling, people sometimes can think that that is disappointing. But the quicker you go to the reassembling and the more surrendered you are to let the reassembling happen through you, the quicker you are at sort of the gain, so to speak, right? The enjoyment. When you get up real early in the morning and with your fresh brain, you get to do all your difficult, brainy work in your office. You're also very early on ready for some afternoon walks in nature, the enjoyment of life. Feel how rich you are, that you are able to give that to yourself. Give yourself that change that your ego personality is so scared about, and it's so oh, and I don't know what to live with anymore, and my money is running out and I don't know what to do anymore. And they ask me to invest and I don't have that. Mm, yeah, and but oh, yeah, that's your investment. That's your period of early morning. Yeah, early, you're early. You got up real early to go through that experience. To be able to go walk in the sun when the sun is at its highest point in the early afternoon. You're free then. You take in all that sunlight of union consciousness because you surrendered to the early morning work. Well, that's just an analogy. Well, we understand that, Petra. And now we go to the Native American cards. And I have to mention that I had to wear today my Native American um what's it what's it called? Well, it's a stone, and there's storm birds and whatnot, and a feather. That one is in my neck, and it was handmade by this lady that I think I know from a lifetime that I remember being the clan mother of a Native American spiritual clan gathering. All right, the arrow 22. Well, I think we're getting quite close to the goal here, to, right, with how I was talking and what I was saying. Because the arrow came out. What do you think? I'm going to look in the booklet for this. 22. I love that number. The card is 22. That's really such a beautiful co-creational twin flame number to me. The arrow, surprise. The arrow, a weapon, is used for defense and also offense against enemies or while hunting. It is a symbol of speed, success, direction, and travel. The shape of the arrowhead is also used as a protective amulet. Oh, to wear on your around your neck, right? Like this. But then different. Sometimes with the addition of a pheasant feather. Well, the feather is here, or red zigzag line that evokes lightning. An arrow requires careful aim, achieved by a good eye and strong, steady muscles. Once released, it follows its path to its inevitable conclusion very quickly. Message. Whatever action you are considering, bear in mind the element of surprise. Solutions or blocks can occur suddenly. Surprise, unforeseen event, unexpected success, victory over a strong enemy, travel, instant solution after a long struggle. Okay, so yeah, I think it's really about within everything I was talking about how your life will fall together in a new way. There is an element of surprise. There is an element of it is not even done by you. It comes over you, but you're not a victim of it because essentially the place where it comes from, the divine, where this lightning strike comes from, that it hits you and changes everything up, essentially is also the core of you. God is in the core of you as well, so it's you're not a victim of it. But it can seem as though, oh, it's not my limited mind, my limited thoughts, my limited only being a human being in this body that does this. Union consciousness is much bigger. It's a much bigger you. It's the universal biggest you that you can ever imagine. It's the entire universe in you, speaking through you, manifesting through you. And that in the whole universe coming in as an arrow, changing things up for you, you very clear, can make it very clear for you that it's not only the little you that tries to do its best in life that is doing this journey. It's actually not doing this journey at all. Something bigger is doing this journey through you. And you start to realize that that is you. That is the you. The bigger you is the you, right? This is what happened to me too. On my journey, on multiple occasions, there were like lightning flashes that came in, and lightning bulbs that broke everything down to give me this one insight or this one new idea. And they really came from the bigger me. Yeah, truly. Okay, let's go to the card deck of life purpose. This one moved. Two of them. Travel. So, yeah, movement. The movement of the arrow. Healer. The bigger whole is the healer. And when you collide with the bigger whole of what you are, you become the healer that you are because you have healed yourself into union consciousness. And then you can also heal other people in union consciousness. And union consciousness is the one true healer of everything, of every ailment and misbelief and everything. And it's the healer of your twin flame union because, of course, in union consciousness, you will find your true twin flame that you now can develop an intimate relationship with that will sustain. That's what we do inside union consciousness. Angel answers about, I'm seeing this one and this one. Angel answers about how is life from a union consciousness perspective in harmonious twin flame union. How is it different? Wait. Oh, interesting. Wait until you're aligned with that bigger self, the bigger whole. Wait to conclude who is the twin flame until you are aligned with the bigger whole. Did you know that? To know who the true twin flame is, you are guided by the teacher, at the same time doing the twin flame inner work in the correct way on your own volition. And then at a certain point, through this practice, you have raised your consciousness, you have raised your vibration to such a degree that you fall into the bigger whole of union consciousness, of harmonious twin flame union. And that is the moment in which it also becomes known to both you and me who the true twin flame really is. Like definitively, right? Very interesting to experience that, how I stand in relationship with people and have experienced that together. Get more information. All right. It's sort of the healing tool of Metatron is in there, like the two triangles that are from the downside up and upside down, and or the two pyramids in each other. Well, I guess that was sort of one message. Inside union consciousness, you will find all the answers, all the information that you need. And in a sense, you need to wait until you are in alignment with it. This is some sort of the symbol, the sacred geometry of this is sort of the symbol of the union consciousness, right? And this is Archangel Michael with a sword cutting it off, cutting the BS off. Go away, BS. That's what will happen in union consciousness. That's what will happen in harmonious twin flame union. In a sense, you need to wait until you are aligned with it all to have the right kind of information, the right kind of things, the right kind of mission, the right twin flame. Well, there's only one for you, but for the very, 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 very most people. But like, know the true one for definitely sure. Yeah, wait is a little bit of a term that maybe I wouldn't choose, but the sense of like you need to become aligned with this, and then things starts to work differently. Okay, I see Divine Mother's cards. So let's see what she wants to show us about where we are in our conversation about consciousness and how it affects life. Our Lady of Great Power. Oh, that seems like a pretty dark Madonna here, which is always so beautiful and sacred and secret, right? Like the secret inner knowledge of the Black Madonna, of the shadow. Anyway, Our Lady of Great Power. So she's actually showing her power here in the darkness. She has power over the darkness. She has great power. Well, she's union consciousness itself. 24. My robes form the heavens above. In my sacred feet the earth spins. In my eyes the stars of the night sky are born and shine. My hair forms galaxies, and in my heart many suns burn with divine love. What is there that could be greater than I? I am that all. I am the love. Any fears, any doubts, any problem or concern? I hold you in my being so vast. There's nothing more powerful than I. I am the love. That is all that you are. Let's see if we can get some qualities that is in this love of the divine. Union consciousness is the love of the divine that you are. And that she is, but she's also your mother. You are her child. Individuality. Every person has their own personalized study plan in this earth school. Two cards. Grief. Tears are what happens when the ice in the heart melts. Inner power. Give me the courage and the power to do what must be done. Oracle of Change with the Transformers, the Shapeshifters, Belle and the Beast. You need some space in a relationship. Don't fall for the narcissistic idea of relating, in which one person fills their needs with the other person's life energy. Instead, always create the space, also in your twin flame union, to relate to yourself, to find what you need, to find the love, to heal your wounds. Because only then, both of you, when you do that, your spiritual sacred union, which is like the bigger whole of the space that surrounds you in which you are relating, falls at the right place. And your individual, sane psychology also falls in the right place inside of that. And there will be space to experience both as a whole, as one. It's not seldom that people think, oh, I'm in such a union consciousness experience. Oh, gosh, I met someone and they're so juicy and so everything to me. Oh, but they ran away. Can you believe? But they're actually in pretty much of a narcissistic interaction with someone. That might or might not be their twin flame. In both cases, you are not related to union consciousness correctly when that is actually a narcissistic kind of relating. So connect to union consciousness correctly and make the sacred space in and around you the union consciousness. And that means that you are fulfilling your own needs for love by connecting yourself to what you need yourself with the help of the divine, right? That gives you everything. And then that relationship can fall into the right place. And even with your twin flame, that's what you need to do. And then they fall into place, like exactly respectfully next to you, equally inside that sacred space that union is, in and around you both. And when it's not actually your twin flame, that relationship will fall away. Anyway, when you go deeper in the journey with the correct twin flame inner work under guidance, and you continue that journey and you invest in it and you choose it and you go all the way, they will fall away because they're not your twin flame. Okay, so the vampires. And aren't we all a vampire before we are in union consciousness? Because that's exactly what we just described. So we're all vampires here in the deck. Like we all are, we all were. We're all kind of narcissists, is what I mean, that we just talked about. We're all kind of narcissists before we've arrived there. We all think somehow are mistaken about that what we need is outside of ourselves. What we need is with someone else. What we need is love from outside. And that's just not how life even functions. Also not on a psychological level. If you would even only look at that level, that's not how life functions. Anyway, so here we go. Original. Connect with deep inside. A holy dance. Instinct. I think she's dancing with the skeletons, with death. What a dangerous dance. But also awakening her. Yeah, because death doesn't exist in union consciousness. Death doesn't exist. Did you know that? Well, there you go. Union consciousness is the eternal perspective from which you view yourself, the world, etc. I'm just going to look inside the booklet for the vampire card for a bit. It's like a dance. Union is like a dance. Like the untamed part of the soul. Let it be a spontaneous dance that takes place outside of time constraints and outside of worldly constraints. It's just this dance in your union it's a consciousness dance to get everything into being, in the right place, in the right puzzle piece kind of place. To get everything in the right place is a dance. It's the dance of life. It's the dance of the divine. It's the dance of the romance between you and the divine. The result is being together with your twin flame in the beautiful sacred bubble that union is, as very concrete human beings, fulfilling your own needs and sharing the love. So what better to look inside next than the expression of love, the oracle of the roses. Please show me which card, Divine Mother. Okay. All right. Well, okay. Healing is taking place now. You are not broken. Trust the process. It is safe to soften up. And desert, sustainable. Don't hasten. Take care of your garden. When your garden now, your soul, feels empty, like a desert, please know that you have it in you to be full of love. Just start now. And only one drop of divine love can be the start of a full garden with fresh fruit trees and a little stream of water, rocks on the side. Take care of your garden, and everything will happen in its own time. This healing is happening now. You're not broken. Trust the process. It is safe to soften up, become vulnerable, and be open about that vulnerability. Start to share how you truly feel in your twin flame journey, about yourself, about your twin flame, about your relationship with the divine. Start to do the actual inner work that points to. Become honest. Even when your garden is dry as heck, your soul feels empty because maybe you have been narcissistically draining yourself. Nothing is lost because you are a twin flame. Union consciousness is inside of you. Don't doubt that. It's the bigger you. You might have lost contact with it, but it can't be completely lost. And it'll find you when you open and soften and become vulnerable. Start to do the actual inner work to deepen that. Alrighty. Mary Magdalene wants to give us a message too. The resurrection will happen to you when you allow that. The union consciousness is the resurrection of which the potential is always here, even though your soul's life can look like a desert. The power of the resurrection means that that is not the end of the story. Even when it feels like death all around, that is not the end of the story. It never is. Because death is never a solution. When you die and you haven't experienced the fruits of a life filled and formed through union consciousness, yet you will simply be reborn and start over exactly at the consciousness where you were. Still placed before the very same lessons, still need to go through them. So even death can't keep you away from the lessons that will eventually open you up for the resurrection. It will inevitably come. Why not allow it right now? No matter what your inner life looks like. That is like letting in the union consciousness. Influence. which is the influence of what builds and is that sacred union bubble in which your safe, sound, and loving relationship with your true twin flame can develop and will develop. It's a resurrection of the becoming upright of your potential, of having your consciousness in a high vibration. And then to close it off, we're going to get a card from the Golden Tarot. I mean, what can come after the resurrection? We can't top that. Well, maybe we can. It's like this famous story of Jesus the Christ. One of the most famous stories of the Western societies. How he was crucified to die as a punishment because they didn't like what he was doing. But he was bringing the message of God and healing people. But they didn't like that. So he needed to die a painful death. At a cross, a Roman torture instrument that makes you die of suffocation. And the story is that he resurrected his mind and his life in his body after he had already died and had been taken off of the cross into the grave. Which is a story about that the power of union consciousness is so ginormous that it can even come back to the body when it is supposedly already dead. And then make the body alive again and say again, hey, here I am. Sorry, I took a break. Which is actually essentially what reincarnation sort of is, right? But then you would choose like a newborn baby body. I have talked in one of my Jesus videos, channel Jesus videos, about that. That is not necessarily 100% well what happened, but also what the resurrection means or is, or the place in his journey on earth at which the true resurrection took place. Maybe the resurrection of like his body. And I think that's like makes it enormously dramatic, like the power of the divine mind, right? Union consciousness. It makes it extraordinarily theatrically clear to us. That was also the goal of that story. But in a much more ordinary way, in a spiritual journey kind of way that we all can experience, it is actually much more probable and likely and normal, and it must have at least also happened to say that the resurrection is the resurrection of Jesus's mind into union consciousness before he started his public speaking career and his public healing career. After 3 years, he was put to death. After 3 years in that career, he was put to death. That's the story. But his resurrection must have necessarily happened before he got his students and began teaching and healing. Because that's just how that goes. First, you resurrect your mind in union consciousness, and then you get your students and you start to heal them. Well, that sounds a little bit tacky like that. Let's get some students and let's heal them. But okay, you get what I mean. That's what I do too. right? First, you resurrect your union consciousness. And you get inside of that everything that is for you, like initiation as a teacher, what kind of teacher, what kind of teaching, where is the out role of the divine teaching, standing at the leading edge of where God wants the universe to go at this time. Oh, it's like for creating twin flame union for more people, for the normal people, you and I. And choosing that early on in the journey to do the rest of the life's journey together, less of the ascension journey together, rest of it. That's where we are. Okay, so that will be implemented in where you are initiated as a teacher inside of you. Okay, so that can come out now as well. Well, then we're talking about the now. At Jesus' time, it wasn't yet time to roll out in the universe the idea of twin flames. But it was true, and he was with his true twin flame, Mary Magdalene, of whom we had her card. This was the card of the Mary Magdalene deck. The resurrection was inside Mary Magdalene's deck because she was resurrected with him. She also resurrected her mind in the union consciousness together with him before they were starting to teach publicly, because they're true twin flames. So that means that when he stepped into the union consciousness, in other words, came into harmonious twin flame union with her, she also necessarily stepped into her union consciousness entrance, because that's what twin flames do. They step into it together. Okay, that's how you and me also will experience that. That's what a twin flame is. Otherwise, it's not your twin flame. So she was part of the resurrection. That's why her card is part of the Mary Magdalene Oracle deck, I feel. That's what I already discussed actually in my Jesus video, but maybe I just right now gave a tad more on that than earlier. I mean, it is a sort of a mystery what really happened to Jesus in the crucifixion and then getting up again from his supposedly dead body. There are multiple possibilities what actually happened to him. It's suddenly certainly a resurrection, but not per se the resurrection that everybody will experience, because that necessarily must have been earlier in his journey where he stepped into union consciousness, got together with his true twin flame, Mary Magdalene, and started teaching. That's what we all can experience. That is you and your true twin flame coming together, stepping in union and consciousness together, and start to spread the love just by itself alone, and also in your mission. Because that's just how it works. You can't not do it. And when you fully stepped into union consciousness, you also can't resist sharing it. It's so incredibly magnetic to do that. You just want to do that. That's all there's left in life, almost. Well, that sounds pretty dramatic, but you get what I mean. Yeah, we can talk about Jesus for a long time. But maybe we should try to keep it at the topic of today and go to the last card or cards from the Golden Tarot. Yeah, I think there's so much to say about Jesus, you know. I'm also writing a book about that stuff, etc. So, I'm going to ask Divine Mother to help me split the deck, and then we're going to see what comes out. That's something else. I'm just going to sort of throw it down. Let some part be thrown down, and then one, only one? One fell down? Well, maybe that's the card that we need then. Okay. 4 of coins, which is the treasure is inside of you. also when you didn't know that yet. It starts to come out with the resurrection. That'll have the feeling of coming from outside like an arrow from the bigger you. But you are that bigger you. And that is the realm shift that it is all about. Going to get some more cards. 5 of Wands. You are starting to try to playfully make this new puzzle fall together. That's what will happen when you start to know that the treasure is inside of you. And they, with the wands in their hands, these people on the card with the wands in their hand, they're going to make a star. But they're not there yet. They're busy. That's how it can feel. Chaotic. At first. But the divine is starting to create a divine order inside of you. And that comes out of the seemingly nowhere. And that's what this card means. Page of Cups. Fish comes out of the seemingly nowhere in his cup, in his heart. Union consciousness arises in the heart, out of seemingly nowhere. The fish says, hi, I'm your union consciousness fish. In your cup of blood, that is the heart. The sun reversed. No matter if it seems to be against all odds, you jump over that on the horse, you jump over the fence here. And that makes the sun shine. That's what union consciousness does. And against all odds, that's like upside down. The upside down meaning. You will jump over the fence on your horse, which is a symbol for the soul. You are the child of God. And while that is happening, you jump over the limited thinking of the ego personality into union consciousness. And that's where the sun shines. That's where your union is. And you will do that against all odds. Last card. The Chariot. I was like, the Chariot in reverse. You will overcome all blocks and obstacles, even when it seems undoable, even when you feel like it is holding you back so immensely. Underlying factor, you're manifesting it. You are the magician. That's Jesus. Manifesting things with the union consciousness. Jesus is a most well-known symbol of what union consciousness is in the Western world. All right. I hope that was of interest to you, and I hope that helped. I am going to start a meditation practice on Wednesdays. 11 Wednesdays in a row, and you are invited. I just wanted to mention that. Maybe you saw my video already. We'll start at October 2nd, 2024. And we'll come together every Wednesday until half December. There's also an option to do it actually on Thursday if you want, because we're all in different time zones, so maybe that one fits you better. I'm looking forward very much to share union consciousness with you as an experiential moment that I will guide you through. And that's what this 75-minute meditation will be about, that we'll be doing every week. And you just get a chance to relax, to come to yourself, to feel your heart, and to get a sense of a drop of union consciousness that may come through your heart forward to enjoy for you in that little meditation. And I want that for you. It is such a beautiful foundation for doing the true twin flame inner work. And that will lead you to the romance of eternity with your true twin flame. So you really want that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like the inborn longing for the true romance. It's beautiful. So let's start meditating, I would say. I made it very inexpensive so that it is able to be done by everyone. It should fit everyone's budget. And that is the mega deal. Let's put it like that. The mega deal, the mega twin flame meditation deal. That is valid. You can buy it until the end of the day in my time zone of September 30th. And after that, it will cost double. Yeah. So, yeah, buy it now. Buy all 11 episodes now. It's really really so inexpensive so that we can just meet every week and have a beautiful relaxing time together. I want that for you. I hope you want it for yourself too, and I hope to see you there real soon, and otherwise in my other videos. Actually, at this very moment, a premiere of another new video of me is starting up. So go to my channel and click on that video that is starting to premiere right now and have another 30 minutes or so of another topic that is very sensitive, actually, but also incredibly important that I wanted you to know about. So I will see you there. Much love from Petra. Oh, yeah. PS. And next week, of course, for the next Twin Flame Abundance Live. Bye bye.